What's up out there, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with a ludicrous story. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this beautiful Tuesday. I'm doing well myself. The reason why I call this story ludicrous is because that's simply what it is, people. Okay? More and more in these end days, we got a certain kind of people that continues even more so than ever wanting to basically be us, and basically steal our identity, which they did that anyway, but it's worse than ever, I'm telling you. In this story right here, we got a white actress. Her name is Annette Hubble, okay? And Annette Hubble thinks that she's supposed to be able to play Harriet Tubman here, okay? And there's a library in San Diego, and they put these plays on and what have you. So Annette Hubble basically went and auditioned for, the part. And they told her no, okay? Because basically you are white and Harriet Tubman is so-called black. And so therefore, we will not let you play this civil rights icon here, okay? As a result of that, you got Annette Hubble, the white actress, wants to sue the San Diego County Library because they refuse her the right to play. She says that you are violating basically San Diego County Library is violating her civil rights. What a switcheroo for you. I'm telling you, I see some of these stories, people, and sometimes I tell you, I can't do anything but just laugh at them, as in this particular one right here, but rather than go on about it, I want you guys to hear her for yourself. Check this out.
Annette Hubble wrote a one-woman show. She portrays historical figures, white like herself and black.
It never occurred to me that might even be an issue.
She says Rancho Santa Fe Library asked her to perform her show for Women's History Month. She gave them a list of characters to pick from. They chose Harriet Beecher Stowe, a white abolitionist, Mary McLeod Bethune, black civil rights leader, and Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and rescued others. A couple weeks before the show, they asked Hubble to swap out Bethune and Tubman for white characters.
And I said, why? And she said, because it's not appropriate for you to be doing this. You're a white woman. And I said, oh, no. You don't understand. I'm honoring these women. And she said, that doesn't matter. And I said, you mean I'm only to perform women whose stories of bravery and courage should be told if they're white? And she said, that's pretty much it. So I'm not getting it. So I said, well, tell me how this is different from the Hamilton play.
In Hamilton, non-white actors portray white historical figures. The debate escalated to the library's diversity and inclusion team. They affirmed the decision, but Hubble refused to swap out the characters, so the library canceled her performance. The library said it won't comment on pending legal matters. Hubble doesn't use makeup for her characters.
I think if people thought I was doing blackface or a parody of these people, not respecting them, then that might be a cause for an objection. But all they have to do is read my stories and they would see how deeply I respect and honor and admire these people.
The San Diego Union-Tribune published an opinion piece by a former San Diego city attorney supporting her, and a lawyer from the Pacific Legal Foundation read it.
And they called me and said, this is horrific. I think that was the very word that Chris used. We need to do something about this.
Hubble says he convinced her to sue.
If these women that I portray fought against such injustice and such egregious wrongdoings in their lives, who am I to stop at fighting this?
Pacific Legal Foundation says it fights for individual liberties. It's filed suits against implicit bias training, race quotas for licensing boards, and programs meant to close racial opportunity gaps. I asked Hubble's lawyer, Chris Barneywald,
The government simply doesn't have the right to exclude anyone by race.
Is there hope with any of these cases that it might set legal precedent?
For sure. We do this because we're interested in the impact.
So-called reverse discrimination suits stretch back to at least the 1970s. Recently, high-profile cases have made headlines again, like the Supreme Court ruling against considering race in college admissions. And in San Diego, after a white plaintiff sued, the city removed the race requirement from a program meant to help people of color buy their first home. Dan Eaton is a legal analyst. He says these lawsuits rely on laws enacted after slavery and the civil rights movement.
The impetus of these laws was to address the legal discrimination against particularly formerly enslaved individuals who were African Americans.
But the reasons a law was written don't really matter in a court of law, only what the words say.
And what we are seeing as the law has evolved is the application of these laws or constitutional amendments, as the case may be, to claims by members of the majority.
Interesting to see that all be turned on its head.
Angie Chandler has advised arts institutions across the country, including in San Diego. She's also played Harriet Tubman.
Even as a Black woman, it was one of the most difficult roles I've ever had to play.
And she'd love to play Mary McLeod Bethune, whose body, she says, was central to her experience.
A woman over 200 pounds, dark-skinned Black woman living in the 1800s and 1900s in this country. There is not a way that I can even invite you into what it's like to walk around this country in a similar body in 2025.
She says Hubbell's performance is not the same as the colorblind casting in Hamilton.
It's not a two-way street because colorblindness is a response. Colorblindness is a response to historic exclusion, to the erasure of our stories.
And she says it ignores the harmful history of white people portraying people of color.
The foundation of the American arts movement means that it will never be as simple, innocent, and neutral for a white person to attempt to tell or perform the story of a Black person.
This is her.
Under the letter of the law, that may not matter. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
Now you see what I'm talking about, people. Look in that humble. Read Isaiah 14:2. You gonna get to be what you pretending like you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see how much you want to be Harriet Tubman then, okay? You gonna get the total experience in the kingdom. Don't worry about it. You understand? I get so tired of this. This ain't nothing but mockery. You know, it's fun to play somebody that you know you don't really have to live out those conditions, what those people life experience actually was. You see what I'm saying? It's fun to do it like that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to actually being that and living that for real, well then of course you're not going to want to, play that. You're not going to want to do it. You see? Total and utter sheer mockery is what this is, And there's a good chance, that she could win this lawsuit too. You know what I mean? Which is a frivolous lawsuit all the way around. Okay? This woman has no business. I'm down with the library, San Diego County Library there. She has no business playing Harriet Tubman simply because, well, you were white. And that's just what it is. Don't try to reverse discrimination. I have no business doing it. You shouldn't even want to do it. There's so many white characters, female characters that you can play. Go play Joan of Arc or somebody. You see what I mean? I think Joan of Arc was the one they burned at the stake. Go play her. What's the woman who went all over the world in a plane and then came up missing? I can't remember her name. But go play her. Go do some other. You're an actress, go do that. You see what I'm saying? Play people associated to your race, okay? Don't try to usurp, our race. Don't do that. That's not cool, okay? And that's just what it is. That's all I got on this one, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this particular story right here. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it in the comment section if you can comment. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.